watched a piece on CNN's State of the Union today that really sort of upset me. The topic was about Donald Trump, of course. You know, that is a central topic on many issues. But we had Bernie Sanders, former political advisor Faiz Shakir, discussing the new morality of the Republican Party and how it has changed. It doesn't matter anymore that you're a philanderer. It doesn't matter anymore that you don't follow the moral code that the Republicans like to dictate. And he did a good job, Faiz Shakir, of exposing it. But you know what Scott Brown did? Scott Brown did a marginal, what I call a marginal false equivalence. And the problem is, as usual with many on the left, is they don't follow up the next step to put a nail in the coffin. I want you to listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side, because there was a very important piece that was missed by Faiz Shakir and everybody and the other progressive on the table to really put Scott Brown in his place. Check this out. We'll take it on the other side.
Faiz Shakir, thank you so much for coming. Welcome to the State of the Union Roundtable. You worked for Bernie Sanders as a senior advisor. You know something about fighting in a primary.
Yeah, there's supposed to be good fights in primaries. I feel like, I'm watching what's going on the right, though, and you're feeling like a loss of moral conversation. You used to have moral conversation in politics. You have legal conversations. I appreciate that there's concerns over whether the case and the statute of limitations and other issues are at play, but what happened to moral leadership? Does anyone get concerned that a president who had an affair with a porn star while his wife just gave birth, then paid her a bunch of money to try to win an election and turn off, a potential issue that would have killed him in a presidential election? No, shrug. And I think at that point, you're like wondering, where is moral leadership, even from people on the right? You say, okay, I have concerns with legal issues. However, morally, this is just not accordant with my values. And what happened to that? What happened to that kind of conversation on the right?
That sailed a long time ago, right? Ever since 2016, it was very clear. This is a different Republican Party, and they were interested in amassing power at all costs. And all that morality talk that we lived through in the 90s and in the 80s, it's gone.
Well, respectfully, Bill Clinton, Gary Hart, let's not take the moral issue and all of a sudden think it's new. There's been indiscretions by previous presidents. My concern is that you're opening up a form of Pandora's box. This has never happened in our country's history, to take something that's a state issue, morph it after the statute of limitations passes into a federal issue. What happens if it's going to have a red state DA all of a sudden wants to take on one of yours? Is that where we're going now? It's going to discourage people from running who are legitimately ready to serve this country, and it's going to create problems down the road.
Trump led you into this degree of moral relativity, and I appreciate the points that his conduct might be just as bad as this person's conduct. I would argue, my own perspective, is that his conduct lives in a reign of its own.
Listen, people took that into account when they voted for him. They knew about all his indiscretions. They knew all about his problems. They compared and measured between him and Hillary, and they chose him.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, moving forward, listen, you have a new cycle coming up. Does he have issues to overcome? Absolutely. But so does Joe Biden at 42% and all the things that are happening with him.
Now, here's what's important, folks. Scott Brown said in many parts of this interview, if you guys really don't want gerrymandering, go ahead and win so that you can set the things up. That's what he said subsequently. But here he states that, look, the American people looked at all the different faults that Donald Trump had. And you know what? In 2016, he still won. And he kept on making the case about, most people wanted, inferring that most people wanted Donald Trump. The thing that's missed here is even in 2016, Donald Trump lost by 3 million votes. In 2020, he lost by 7 million votes. The American people, for those who went out and vote and those in the public at large, they never supported Donald Trump. It's the design of a constitution that has destroyed democracy in this country that allowed somebody like Donald Trump to get in. And that Faiz Shakir did not butt in and make that case, that he didn't go in there and state the fact that, listen, let's remember, America never, ever supported Donald Trump. He's had his faction. He's had his faction of what, for those who tolerate what he does, the degeneracy. he's had that faction, but he has never had support. And that Faiz Shakir did not get in there was a missed opportunity to let all America know this man has never had majority support in the American body politic ever.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.